welcome to Sumsel Stories. I'm Retno Belandari, your host, as we explore the heart of South Sumatra. Its people, culture, educations, and the everyday stories that inspires and connects us all. Stay with us as we bring you closer to the warmth and the wonderful of South Sumatra. The museum serves as a public educational center that fosters awareness of the historical reservations through presentations that are more engaging and easy to understand.
Sultan Mahmud Badarudin SMB2 Museum in Palembang continues to strive to ignite the spirit of the younger generation to develop a deeper appreciation for history and cultural heritage through its various collections. This museum serves as an open learning space that presents the long journey of Palembang civilization and the Sriwijaya Sultanate. The presence of this museum serves as an important educational resource for the public, especially students and the younger generation who wish to learn about the historical roots of their region. The SMB2 Museum houses approximately 1.041 collections, some of which are replicas while many others are authentic artifacts from the past. SMB2 Museum educator Kiki stated that most of the collections originated from donations from the Bari House Museum. The most dominant category of the collections is ethnological items, namely objects that are closely related to the daily life and creative works of the people of Palembang in the past, as well as various traditional cultural equipment. In addition, this museum also houses other collection categories such as archaeological, numismatic, and historical artifacts.
Koleksi museum keseluruhan kebanyakan dari hibah Museum Rumah Bari. Ya, yang museumnya sekarang sudah berada di Museum Balaputra Dewa ya, Museum Negeri. Paling banyak sih koleksi kita yang etnologi. Kalau etnologi itu yang berhubungan dengan yang dibuat oleh masyarakat, yang dibuat lah ya, kayak kain, tekstil itu termasuk di etnologi. Terus ada senjata.
One of the visitors, Fadia Nabila, stated that this museum serves as a new educational medium for the younger generation by presenting historical information in a more engaging, accessible, and easily understood.
Museum Sultan Mahmud Badarudin II ini mempunyai peran penting bagi kami generasi muda untuk dapat tetap melestarikan budaya-budaya lokal yang ada di Palembang. Kita jadi lebih tahu mengenai sejarah dari Kerajaan Sriwijaya, Kesultanan Palembang, mengenai tadi pakaian-pakaian adat yang ada di museum ini, senjata-senjata tradisional. Ini jadi membuat pola pikir generasi muda seperti saya untuk terus melestarikan budaya lokal yang ada di Palembang agar tidak punah dan menjadi tempat belajar baru bagi generasi muda.
It is hoped that the interest of the younger generation in regional history and culture will continue to grow and be preserved.
So inspiring, the museum is an important source of knowledge. As young generations, let's enrich your cultural literacy through your visit to the museum. Through educational tourism, learning science and technology are now more enjoyable at Graha Teknologi Sriwijaya, where students are encouraged to interact with variety of the teaching aids.
To promote interest and passion for science and technology among students in South Sumatra, educational tours in science and technology can be conducted at Regional Technical Implementation Unit of Graha Teknologi Sriwijaya, one of the science centers serving as an out-of-school learning facility for the community, including students. Graha Teknologi Sriwijaya presents around 120 educational and interactive science teaching aids. These teaching aids are innovations created by teachers and students from various schools in South Sumatra, as well as result of collaboration with the Indonesia Science Center. Here, students can observe, learn, and experiment with a variety of science and technology concepts. The principal of SMP Negeri 5 Banyuasin 1, Edi Chandra, said that visiting Graha Teknologi Sriwijaya should foster curiosity, learning enthusiasm, and passion for science.
Kami datang ke sini membawa 64 siswa putra-putri. Karena Graha Teknologi ini adalah dasar ilmu pengetahuan di bidang teknologi. Jadi anak-anak itu setidaknya mengetahui dasar-dasar teknologi. Bisa di pelajaran, bisa ada kehidupan sehari-hari. Contoh yang saya lihat tadi ada kegiatan gelombang air. Artinya gelombang itu terbentuk adanya kekosongan air di suatu tempat yang kemudian terisi lagi oleh air, itulah yang menyebabkan gelombang. Rata-rata yang ditampilkan sini semuanya mengedukasi siswa.
One of students from SMP Negeri 5 Banyuasin 1, Cika, said that students who visited were very enthusiastic and inspired by the various teaching aids. They hope the school can provide practical activities similar to what they experience here.
Seru, banyak ada benda-benda teknologi di sini, jadi bisa kami terapkan di kelas nanti. Harapan saya agar bisa menerapkan di sekolah biar ada seperti ini.
With an interactive and inspiring atmosphere, this educational tour successfully combines learning and recreation into one exciting and meaningful experience.
Beside the luxury songket and jumputan fabrics, Palembang has a unique embroidery called angkinan, the traditional craftsmanship that is slowly being forgotten in the modernization's era.
Palembang is famous for its magnificent and rich culture. Besides songket and jumputan fabric, there is another cultural heritage that is also beautiful. It is called angkinan, with the velvet sheet as the base and gold, colorful threads being embroidered, that creates the look of luxury. Angkinan fabric was often used for formal occasions, especially on traditional Palembang wedding event. Now, they are rarely being seen in public and slowly being forgotten. But the spirit to preserve this culture is blazing alive in Kampung Angkinan Sunan, on Mayor Zainin Street, Sungai Laisward, Kalidoni Sub-District. There is a team of craftsmen that is dedicated to make and sell angkinan and keeping its existence. Angkinan has 15 different motifs, like sulur-suluran, birds, butterflies, centipedes, nutmeg, and many more. The head of Kampung Sunan Sulam Angkinan, Ayu, said that this angkinan embroidery has existed since the age of Sriwijaya Kingdom. As the original descender, Ayu felt it's her calling to preserve the heritage culture, involving her family and neighbors in the process of making it, so it won't be forgotten.
Yang kita hasilkan itu ada lebih kurang 15 item. Dan juga di Kampung Sunan ada 15 motif yang kita sediakan. Kita masih menggunakan dengan benang biasa, kemudian benang mas. Benang mas ini kita angkin seperti ini. Nah, maka disebut angkinan. Dan bahasa Palembangnya pucuk cabut jarum.
Now, angkinan is also being used as pillow covers, table sheets, tanjak, scarves to gandik accessories, and many more. With the spirit of preservation always being lit, it is hoped that angkinan will still exist and keeps becoming Palembang's pride.
It's a powerful reminder of Indonesia's rich cultural heritage. As a younger generation, we must ensure that incredible textiles are preserved for the future generation. South Sumatra is rich in batik patterns, including hand-drawn batik featuring the Pedada motif, which symbolize the natural beauty of the coast and the local wisdom of the people of South Sumatra.
The Pedada batik motif is inspired by the Pedada tree that grows along the Musi River coastline. Besides showcasing the local wisdom of South Sumatra, This motif also represents the community's dedication to preserving the environment along the river banks. The creation of this hand-drawn batik involves students, accompanied by teachers from the pattern design process to the final batik fabric. The head of the South Sumatra Provincial Education Office, Hajah Mondia Boni, expressed her appreciation for this batik artwork and hopes that the launch of the Pedada Batik will encourage the community to create art and help preserve local cultural heritage.
Tentu di Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Sumatera Selatan kita ada pengembangan kewirausahaan setiap tahun bagi guru dan siswa yang ada di Sumatera Selatan. Harapannya tentu akan lahir juga karya-karya dari sekolah-sekolah lain di Sumatera Selatan dan mudah-mudahan dari SMK Negeri 7 ini bisa menjadi inspirasi bagi sekolah-sekolah lain untuk menciptakan karya seni.
Besides hand-drawn batik, the Pedada motif will also be developed into stem batik to allow larger scale production and reach across society. The school also plans to register a patent for the Pedada motif to provide legal protection for the design.
Kita akan selalu terus mengembangkan batik Pedada ini dan kita akan memproduksi lebih banyak lagi, apalagi kita akan mengembangkan teaching factory kita di SMK 7 Palembang, khususnya di kompetensi keahlian tekstil di SMK 7 Palembang.
The launch of the Pedada Batik serves a collaborative effort between vocational education and the preservation of local culture.
Stay with us, inspiring stories and unique culture. We'll be right back after the break. A correctional facility is not only a place to serve sentence, but also a space to spiritual development and also cultivation's independence for inmates.
The Class 2A Women's Correctional Facility in Palembang provides various positive and creative activities for its inmates through skill building and self-development programs. The independence programs here cover a wide range of continuously implemented skills trainings, including bread and pastry making. Beforehand, inmates are trained in both basic and advanced techniques for processing various bakery products. The goods produced are not only consumed internally but are also sold through Le Panili, a restaurant fully managed by the inmates under the supervision of the Women's Correctional Facility Vocational Guidance Officer. In addition to producing various breads and pastries, inmates are also equipped with other skills such as weaving Palembang Songket and jumputan fabrics, beauty salon services, as well as playing musical instrument and singing. The head of the Class 2A Women's Correctional Facility in Palembang, Desi Andriani, state that the variety of guidance programs implemented demonstrates that a correctional facility is not merely a place to serve punishment, but also a space for self-improvement.
Yang sudah diupload keluar ini yang tata busana dan kuliner, yang sudah mulai dikenal oleh masyarakat. Pengennya mereka meneruskan, dan kebetulan dari pihak ketiga pun siap menerima mereka untuk bekerja di tempat mereka usaha. Ada kesenian juga. Jadi ada di sini ada akustik, kemudian color guard dan berbagai macam jenis tarian, kemudian ada paduan suara. Jadi semuanya kita bina sesuai dengan kemampuan dan bakatnya masing-masing.
Through this trainings program, The Palembang Women's Correctional Facility hopes that inmates will be able to rebuild a better and more independent life in the future.
Hydroponic farming continues to grow as the public awareness of the healthy food consumption increases.
Public awareness of healthy lifestyles has contributed to the rising interest in hydroponic agricultural products, including in the city of Palembang. According to the 2022 Asia Pacific Personal Habit Survey, 62% of respondents plans to reduce the consumption of unbalanced or unhealthy foods. A farmer who has been engaged in hydroponic agriculture since 2012, Perda Sari Dewi, believes the survey reflects the growing business potential of hydroponic farming, particularly in supporting food security and providing fresh vegetables for urban communities. Hydroponic is not only environmentally friendly, but also efficient and sustainable. However, Perda also acknowledges that the hydroponic industry faces its own challenges, especially due to climate change which affect plant conditions.
Potensi hidroponik saat ini ya sangat besar ya, terlebih kita sekarang ada program pemerintah ini ketahanan pangan, apalagi ada program makanan gratis ya, jadi kebutuhan masyarakat akan sayuran-sayuran sehat itu semakin hari semakin besar ya, apalagi pengetahuan masyarakat tentang mengkonsumsi sayuran sehat itu makin hari makin tinggi, jadi kebutuhan akan sayuran sehat itu sangat besar.
With continuously advancing technology and knowledge, Perda is optimistic that hydroponics will become one of the key agricultural solutions for the future in urban areas, including Palembang.
Processed food called dendeng is usually made from beef, but in the city of Lubuk Linggau, cassava leaves is used to be the alternative of the ingredients.
The dish was first created by Herina Yuni Utami, an honorary teacher in the city of Lubuk Linggau. She named it Dendeng Pucuk Ubi Waidah. The product is now available in 3 flavors: red chili, green chili, and original. The process begins by cleaning the young cassava leaves. Once washed, the leaves are boiled, rinsed again, and then dried using a spinner. Once the cassava leaves are fully dried, they are finely chopped. The mixture then goes through kneading and steaming before being left to cool. After it cools, the dough is shaped, sun-dried, and finally packed together with a sachet of chili sauce.
Ada ilmu ya, nggak ada ilmu, jadi setelah viral akhirnya naik drastis dan kita jatuh drastis. Jadi penjualannya turun sampai ke 0. 2002 akhir itu kita ketemulah dendeng yang sekarang. Kita mulai ganti kemasan dari yang dulu kemasan hanya ditempel stiker, kita jadi kemasan full printed.
Dendeng Pucuk Ubi is sold at an affordable price, ranging from 2,000 to 25,000 rupiah, depending on the flavor. Beyond Lubuk Linggau, the product has also reached several other cities, including Palembang, Lampung, Batam, Malang, and Yogyakarta.
Saya di sini membantu ya seperti memetik daun ubi, namanya sudah itu mencaca kayak gitu sampai proses bikin dendeng ya gitu sampai selesai. Harapannya sih dendeng ini yang pastinya kedepannya semakin maju dan semakin terkenal di seluruh Indonesia, terutama kalau bisa nanti sampai ke mancanegara gitu.
The production house for Dendeng Pucuk Ubi, located in Lorong Kamandanu in Majapahit Village, is Lubuk Linggau, South Sumatra. Also helps empower the local community. Many residents, especially women, take part in the work, using it as an additional source of income.
Telur ukan is traditional dish made from the duck eggs. It's prepared only once a year and is being a part of the inspirables of the celebrations of Independence Day. Telur ukan is a traditional Palembang delicacy that appears only once a year. During the celebration of Indonesia's Independence Day on 17 August. The name telur ukan comes from the phrase telur atau bukan, meaning egg or not. Although it looks like a whole egg, the inside has been mixed with coconut milk, pandan and suji leaves, slick lime, and salt. This unique mixture is then poured back into the clean eggshell and then steamed until fully cooked. Its texture is softer and more delicate than a regular boiled egg, with a sweet and creamy taste similar to srikaya and a fragrant pandan aroma. Telur ukan is usually enjoyed with sticky rice for a richer flavor.
Telur ukan ini disebut telur ukan mungkin karena isinya bukan telur jadi telur apa bukan, tapi cangkangnya telur tapi isinya bukan telur. Ya karena di situ kan sudah kita proses pakai pandan, sudah pakai bahan-bahan yang lain. Kalau sehari kemarin untuk ibu bayi 150. Nah, sekarang bila sudah banyak peminat mungkin sekitar 500-an.
During Independence Month, this traditional delicacy can be easily found along Merdeka Street in Palembang.
Tapi setiap tahun ini kan makanan khas Palembang. Jadi setiap 17 Agustus ada telur ukan, telur pindang sama lemper sepet ini. Telur ukan pasangannya makannya sama lemper sepet. Rasanya lemak, gepuk, gurih. Ya diharapkan telur ukan harus dilestarikan karena ini makanan Palembang asli kan. Jadi setiap harus harus ada.
Amid the surge of modern food trends, telur ukan continues to survive as a symbol of tradition and cultural identity for the people of Palembang, especially in the lead up to the Independence Day. Stay with us, inspire stories and unique culture. We'll be right back after the break. The various types of parrots are being the main prima donna at the Edutourism Palembang Bird Park.
This edutourism place is a home to many types of parrots, like macaw, lovebird, cocktail, sun conure, tunuri, and bayan, that we can see and watch close by the visitors. Between those interesting parrots type, parakeet is being the visitors' favorite. The happy chirps and colorful feathers are making the park livelier and attracting the animal lovers. The supervisor of Palembang Bird Park, Dina Juliana, said that the most widely maintained type in the park is lovebird. The maintenance of parrots should be done thoroughly, including on the feeding. The park doesn't use any of chemical feed. It is made from natural ingredients to keep the parrots healthy.
Pakannya kita kasih 3 kali sehari gitu. Jadi pagi itu dikasih pakan burung biji-bijian. Terus kalau siangnya itu kita kasih jagung sama kangkung biasanya. Terus kalau sore kita kasih telur. Kita nggak pakai bahan kimia Kak di sini, bahan alami semua. Kebanyakan sih burungnya stres karena mungkin keramaian atau terlalu rame lah.
Not only limited on their food, their environment is also an important factor. These birds are prone to stress, especially when it's too crowded around them. It can impact the bird's endurance and behavior.
The Rebokasan or Rebo Akhir is a traditional cultural practice from Palembang community.
The Rebokasan tradition is held as an effort toward of misfortune or calamities. Some members of the community believe that dangers, illness, and disasters are sent down in the month of Safar. Besides asking for protection and expressing gratitude to the Creator, this tradition also serves as a moment to strengthen social ties. To carry out this tradition, a number of activities are performed, such as communal prayers and remembrance zikr. Performing a special sunnah prayer as an effort to repel misfortune, giving alms, and eating together on the last Wednesday of the month of Safar.
Tradisi Rebokasan ini kenapa dibilang Rebokasan? Karena adanya hanya di hari Rabu bulan Safar. Jadi bulan Safar ini diyakini sama orang-orang Palembang Lama bahwa akan ada 320 balak turun. Nah sayangnya ini udah hampir punah. Banyak generasi muda yang nggak tahu, banyak masyarakat yang nggak tahu, bahkan memang sudah meninggalkan. Jadi saya mengharapkan generasi muda, masyarakat, terutama dinas terkait, pemerintah mendukung acara ini karena menurut saya sih positifnya banyak.
The Rebokasan tradition is part of the cultural heritage of Palembang Darussalam that has existed for a long time. It is hoped that this tradition can be preserved and developed so it can become an attraction for the community.
That's all for today's episodes of Sumsel Stories. Thank you for joining us as we explore the piece of beautiful of South Sumatra. You can access TVRI South Sumatra through mobile phone on TVRI applications and also on digital channel. I'm Retno Bandari. See you next time.
Tinggal pergi mencari lagi, umang tak seekor